People, what's going on, man? Happy Sunday. We only a few days away, man, from Nas and DJ Premier album. Everyone is excited. I think this is great for hip hop, great for 90s enthusiasts, great for Primo fans, great for Nas fans, man. There's gonna be a lot of conversation going on leading up to Friday, you know what I'm saying? December 12th. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a big day in the culture, man, for us hip hop heads. What can you say? It's a gift. Mass Appeal has provided 90s enthusiasts great music all year. Rollouts all year was good, man. How can you be upset when you're getting Mob Deep and De La Soul and Big L and Raekwon and Ghost and Slick Rick? And I'm looking forward to see what might happen next year. We can only fantasize about some great releases for next year since we don't know yet. And 2025 been a dope year for hip hop. Very dope year, but I was thinking about something this morning and I said, let me just share it in video instead of doing a lot of typing back and forth. DJ Premier has a limited body of work with Nas, but we talk as if they have like 20 and 30 songs together. Now, that could mean a lot of different things. One, the songs they did do, the impact was so great, or something like that, or so dope that we just wanted to hear this project. And we, of course, we saw the Scratch magazine, and a lot of us who have platforms have talked about different reasons leading up to this album, why we wanted it, why hip hop wanted it, why hip hop needed, why New York needed, all of that. Nobody's wrong. It's all just good conversation, good opinions. But I was like, when I really think about it, why do we want a DJ Premier and Nas album? They didn't do a whole lot of songs together, and Nas did a whole lot more work with a lot of other people, and so it made me think about, like, let's look at some discographies of and catalogs of these people, in regard to like Nas music, right? So we know Nas and DJ Premier have 8 songs together. You would think they had, like, that's an EP. You know what I'm saying? But you would think because of their history and how their names are aligned from Illmatic to now, they did a whole lot of work together, but they really didn't in the grand scheme of things. Let's look at 8 songs, right? New York State of Mind, Memory Lane, Represent, I Gave You Power, New York State of Mind 2, Nas is Like, Come Get Me, and Second Childhood. That's it. And if we're looking at timeline, it's 2025. Second Childhood, which has been talked about a lot lately because, certain people, adults acting like kids, that song has been coming back up again. Like, Nas was right. He was ahead of the curve. That's 2001. So outside of What's in the Name or Define My Name or what have you from last year, that song that Nas and Primo kind of did as promo, and Primo has recently talked about that. It's kind of like a promo song just to show people that we're serious. Outside of that, Primo hasn't been on a Nas album since Stillmatic. Okay? Primo has not been on a Nas album since 2001, 24 years ago. Nobody's talking about that. I don't recall seeing anyone say that. Because you would think that they just worked together a couple of years ago. They didn't. Of course, you could say, Primo was on the joint, the Wave guy, I believe, scratching, doing the Hit Boy run. We get that. But before that, Define My Name joint, what have you, last year, it had been since 2001, right? So on an album, it's been over 2 decades since Nas and Primo linked up, which is kind of crazy when you look at how big Nas' discography is before the Hit Boy run. You're still looking at Primo not on Street Disciple, Primo not on Hip Hop Is Dead, Primo not on Untitled, Primo not on Life Is Good. You know what I'm saying? None of these albums. He's not on any of these albums. You know what I'm saying? But again, when you think about something like New York State of Mind, one of the pillars of underground hip hop in New York in 1994, that is a Primo track. Represent, dope song on there. You know what I'm saying? Memory Lane, great Nas song. But are those the best songs on even on Illmatic? Some might say, Lost Professor got 3 songs on Illmatic. Halftime, One Time for Your Mind, it ain't hard to tell. For some people, it ain't hard to tell that it's the best song on Illmatic. For some people. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's Lost Professor. So looking at those 8 songs, it's kind of like, well, So, okay, Lost Professor has done, if you count some of his own projects, he has about 5 or 6 songs with Nas, you know what I'm saying? But the last time Lost Professor was on a Nas album, I believe, was Stillmatic in 2001. Okay, let's get to, like, for example, Salaam Remi. Salaam Remi got like 15 songs with Nas. You know what I'm saying? Like, more songs than Primo. You know what I'm saying? Like, he does. Dame Grease got like 7 songs with Nas. People don't even talk about that because Dame Grease is the one who did It's Dark and Hell is Hot for the most part. People think Swiss Beats did it. Dame Grease produced 80% of It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Swiss Beats got 1 song on there. You know what I'm saying? But Dame Grease has like seven Nas songs, if I'm not mistaken. Primo only has 8. You get what I'm saying? Lost Professor got close to that. He got like 5, 6, 7 songs with Nas, right? Trackmasters got like 8 songs with Nas in his entire career, if I'm not mistaken. Primo has 8 songs. So you can see right there, just using the Trackmasters and Dame Grease, people don't even equate Dame Grease with Nas. You know what I'm saying? But he got this, like, basically the same amount of songs with Nas as Primo got. But you think of Dame Grease, for people that really know it, they think about Rough Riders and DMX. You don't even think about Nas. Trackmasters, again, we know about It Was Written, other songs they did. They got like 7, 8 songs with Nas, right? Same as Primo. All right. Q-Tip. Q-Tip has One Love and That American Way or something like that on Streets Disciple. I believe that's it. Pete Rock got The World Is Yours on Illmatic, but I think he has that one track on Lost Tapes too. You would think at some point during all those years, Pete Rock and Nas would have some songs together, but they really didn't. But that's not what this is about. It's not about Q-Tip and Pete Rock not having a lot of work with Nas, because they don't. But people, conversation, you would think that they do, but they don't. This is about how many people got way more work than DJ Premier, but we call it for the DJ Premier album. Again, you know, were those songs that much greater than other songs that people did to make? No ID probably has, I didn't write that down, nothing like that, but No ID has, I don't know, maybe 8, 9 songs with Nas. Salaam Remi, like I said a few minutes ago, he has like 15 songs with Nas. You know, so let's look here. But this is the funny part. What I want to talk about real quick is why we never really talk about the catalog that Nas did with his QB and Queen's brethren, LES. LES has been with Nas throughout his career, consistently making music with Nas. LES did Life's a Bitch on It Was Written. I mean, excuse me, on Illmatic. And I want to say, according to AZ and some other people, that was the last song for Illmatic. He put his man on. Come on, let me get this my guy on my debut album. Not only just that, the follow-up, It Was Written. Man, LES got Black Girl Lost and Suspect on there. I said that Black Girl Lost is one of the most underrated Nas songs to me, especially on It Was Written. I love that song. Suspect is hard. So LES is on Illmatic and It Was Written. Now, LES got 5 songs on I Am. I'm not going to read them all out, but you guys can look it up. LES has like 5 songs on I Am. LES got 5 songs on Nostradamus. LES got 2 songs on Stillmatic. LES got like 3 songs on the Lost Tapes. Man, LES got 4 songs on Hip Hop Is Dead. You know, if you look up their discography, I counted, and I don't even think it's all of them, like 22 songs. That's almost 3 times more than Nas and Premier. LES got over 22 songs with Nas, and people don't even talk about that. That's one of the biggest tragedies to me. I think that LES don't get his props as a producer, because actually look at his production credit, man. He's done some dope work. Not just the Nas songs, but he did some great songs with Nas. You know what I'm saying? Like, go look up LES production credits with just Nas. Great Nas songs. and like dope songs with other people also, but we don't talk about LES the way we should. I think in regard to Nas' career, I want to say LES has the second most production credits, but from a producer for Nas. Period. LES, the only one got more songs with Nas is Hit Boy. And I think that's the craziest part. I want to say Hit Boy Nas did 79 songs. Now, again, perspective, people. They literally have 6 albums together. Nas and Hit Boy did 79 songs. So actually, Hit Boy is Nas' most prolific producer. Whether you like him or not, that's another thing. Whether you think some of the jumps from the Hit Boy run are 5 Mike albums or classics, and some people say Magic and KD Thriller in Nas' top 5 albums, even if they're in his top 10, you're talking about 25, 30 years into his career, he made 2 albums or whatever the case may be that you can consider some of his best work. That's done with Hit Boy. Hit Boy has, like I said, 79, 80 songs with Nas, so that is the producer of his career. To me, the most prolific producer in his career is Hit Boy. But for hip-hop heads and enthusiasts, is DJ Premier. Now, if this new album got 15 tracks, then you had these 8, now you got, what, 23 songs or what have you with Nas and DJ Premier? Well, LES got that already, 22 plus songs already. So he still will be tied for second, I guess, in terms of Nas production credits after this album. Because before that, he's not even there. He's not that high. There's people got it's the same amount or more than him. Again, Salam Remy got like 15 tracks with Nas. Primo don't even have that. You know what I'm saying? Against No ID got out 7, 8, whatever total, if I'm not mistaken. Trackmaster 7, 8. So Primo has the same amount as several other production groups or producers for Nas. Again, nobody really talks about that reality, but that's the reality. And LES has a lot more production credits up until this new album, of course. So I think that's very interesting that, again, you would think that they have this long list of songs together, but it's literally 8 songs up until, this new album, like I said again. But if you exclude this new joint coming out next week, there hasn't been a lot of work, man, but the hype around both of them working together has been big because, yeah, you can consider, and I know some people might say, okay, well, this is why, Tony, the reason why people fantasize about this album that we're about to get is because maybe 5 of Nas' best songs or 5 of Nas' top 10, 15 songs were done by DJ Premier. Some will say New York State of Mind, I Gave You Power, Nas is Like. Some people might say those 3 are his top 5 songs as far as like beats and songs. Some might say that. A lot will say they top 10. But then once you name Second Childhood and Represent, and a lot of people might say, again, these 8 songs will be his top 20 greatest songs, maybe. And that trumps the 22 songs of LES for the most part for a lot of people. And that trumps, because people are going to say, okay, Nas and Hit Boy 79 songs, but any of them I Gave You Power, any of them New York State of Mind. It's almost unfair because you're talking about Nas when he was 19, 20 years old up until early 20s compared to doing work at 49, 50, 51 years old, et cetera, whatever the case may be. So that's almost unfair to compare that. But for the sake of argument, some people might say, well, where would you rank some of the Nas Hit Boy, the great songs they did do together? How would you rank them in Nas top 25 like greatest songs? Because a lot of people will say all 8 of these songs that Primo did are probably in Nas top 25 greatest songs. Now let me ask you: New York State of Mind, Memory Lane, Represent, I Gave You Power, New York State of Mind 2, Nas is Like, Come Get Me, Second Childhood. Will all of those songs be in Nas top 25 greatest songs or top 25 greatest beats he rapped on? And then how many, I guess, from LES, for example, Salam Remy, Hit Boy, how many of their songs would be in Nas top 25? You know what I'm saying? Because they all got some joints with Nas. You know what I'm saying? So what would that be? So I guess when we look at it in conclusion, you know what I'm saying, the fact that most would rank those songs so high, that's why we get what we get. But I just thought it was interesting that we don't talk about the fact that Nas and DJ Premier hasn't done a song together that made a Nas album since Stillmatic, since 2001. That's wild, man. But history can be made next Friday, man. You know what I'm saying? Like light years, man, and it could, man, it could flip the culture as far as like the hip hop heads. I mean, if this album end up being what a lot of people hope it could be, Nas could end up having the album of the year of 2025, which is nuts when you think about Live at the Barbecue came out in 1991. And, you know, Halftime on Zebrahead soundtrack, and I think that One on the Street Fighter soundtrack. I don't know if did Lost Professor do that song? I'm not sure. I think so. You know, stuff like that leading up to Illmatic in 1994. So you're talking about your debut in 1994 that people hailed as one of the greatest albums of all time in hip hop and in music. And then you fast forward to 2025. If Nas and Premier can pull off the album of the year in 2025, that would be absolutely insane. I also think, and I know this is gonna be my bias here, and somebody gonna say this you being biased. If this album Primo laced this thing, it will make a lot of people forget about a lot of other people who produce a lot of songs for Nas prior to this album. But I think for some people on the brink of saying is Nas the greatest MC of all time, or he top 5, top 3, and all that, if this album now at this point in his career is this hip hop classic, even though I got him as the GOAT, I think anyone who doesn't have to really evaluate Nas' career. And then where does this take Primo again? Well, Primo's already up there to me with the Dr. Dre and Jay Dilla and all these guys. I mean, some people think DJ Premier is the best. Some people, I got Dr. Dre as the best, but the Premier is like number 2 or 3 to me. And like I said, Dilla up there and Pete Rock and is right there. And some of them can just be argued and debated and stuff like that. But this would be, I think it'll be huge for DJ Premier's legacy as well, man. Hey, look, a lot of more conversation coming these next couple of days and couple of weeks. And we're ending the year, man. You know, Nas and Premier, man. Peace.